Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul podcast, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond. And listen, I told you guys last week that we're going to another realm when we're talking about holistic health approaches. And I know there's some things, but we're going to come tonight and get the record straight on a few things here with my special guest, Miss Sandi Fields. Thank you for coming and joining us tonight on this special segment of the Upfront. Because, this is Women's History Month.
Yes, it is.
And I've been going forth with the Women on History Month this month.
Yeah, you better do it, Michelle.
So, audience, I'm going to give you a little brief who she is, what she does, and we're going to get right into the segment. So, my guest here, Sandi Fields, she is the owner and founder of Transcend Counseling and Wellness Center with 10 years of experience as a mental health professional. You see, guys, I always try to bring something for the mind, the body, and the soul here at Up Front. As a U.S. Army veteran, it was only fitting that she established TCWC on Veterans Day 2019. As a licensed clinical social worker, she supports men, women, and young adults with mental health services that focus on reducing and alleviating symptoms of depression, anxiety, mood disorders, and trauma resulting in PTSD, which means post traumatic stress disorder. We got to tell them that. Ms. Fields is also trained in EMDR, brain spotting, mindfulness based stress reduction, and cognitive behavioral therapy, which is resulted as CBT. Now, on her other level, she also is a holistic health coach. And we're going to get talking about some of the things in the holistic health that we're both have in common. And it's a lifestyle. It's a thing, the healing process. And we all know that we all have our own journeys. So
Thank you.
welcome.
Thank you.
I
Thank
really
you.
do. And she's sitting there all beautiful. And look, a lot of people who know that purple is my favorite color. So
Listen, my hair under here is purple, twin. Yes, it is our color.
I'm telling you, I it was something about you, and I tell people all the time, it's always I always link up how God lines people up together.
Yes.
And something listed out at me when I saw your post, and I connected. That's what I tell my weekly viewers all the time. You got to take action on certain things. If God gives it to you, you need to take action because that's what you're going to have to do. And I
Mm-hmm.
took action and I connected with you. And look, you already have some of the stuff that we combine and work with in the mindfulness um, sector. So we're going to go ahead with the first question for you. So, Sandi, can you give the audience? I did give a little brief, but can you give a snippet of who you are and what you do and where are you located?
Okay. So, first and foremost, I am an extension of the Most High, the universal source of all love, life, and wisdom, right? As we all are. I am a wife, a mom of three, a business owner, a daughter, granddaughter, sister. I am also, so while you're mentioning my business, Transcend Counseling and Wellness, I am also partnering with my mentor and colleague for our Royal. I'm so excited about what we are developing. It is a Royal Status University. We have I am Queen status and I am King status to help people find the royalty within them, to treat themselves as such. And so we'll get into that later, as part of what we're doing and what's out there, how to connect with us. Yeah, so I'm a mental health professional, clinical licensed clinical social worker, but I am also a holistic health coach. And more importantly, I am an energy healer, which shows up every time in every session, no matter what I do, because the mind, body, and spirit are connected. And so my practice, Transcend Counseling and Wellness Center, is located in Somerset, New Jersey. We do a lot of our sessions are on video, telehealth. So, but you have to be in the state of New Jersey or in the state where our clinicians are licensed in order to have mental health services. However, when we talk about holistic healing or energy healing, that is not underneath a clinical license as such. And so that can be done anywhere around the world.
See, and that's one good point that you brought about that. So, even though I'm here in Maryland, if I was to reach out to you, it wouldn't be valid because you are in New Jersey. And that's some of the things with telehealth. But I do see that that maybe even become some type of universal because I think a lot of things are going to shift and change with licensing and all of that type of thing, which will be for the better and the good. Because trust me, it's a lot of work for us to do in these realms of mental health and all of those. So we have a couple few viewers. Stacy Smith, she says, "Hey Sandy," and Janelle Smith said, "Hello Sandy." Thank you, ladies, for joining us tonight. Thank you so much. So one of the good things that you said about, I love one of the things that you said, the universal of all the highest powers who control the ruler of the earth, and we know that we definitely know that because I'm always a firm believer everything that God gives is good. So everything he does, everything comes from him. Everything.
Absolutely.
Every everything comes from him. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit of the second half. But what I also loved about it that you transcend and you use transcend as a part as a veteran. First, from my heart to your heart, thank you for your service,
Thank you.
for
Receive.
being in the army and then looking for that because we know dealing with military and coming back into civilian life, it can be very traumatic because you're so stuck in that army,
Mhm.
navy, whatever way, that military life way, and it can be very hard. And you mentioned a few things that you are certified in, and I think a lot of people hear these terms and they really don't understand what they are. So I'm briefly going to tell you to go over because one is EMDR. I had a client tell me one time that they don't like going through the EMDR process. So, can you give the audience what, if they ever hear this or they know someone who's maybe going through mental health and they're talking about it, can you tell them about what the EMDR is?
Yes, so EMDR stands for eye movement desensitization reprocessing. And so, what that does is the clinician will guide the client with eye movements to help them reprocess a particular situation, be it traumatic or whatever it is they're focusing on in the session. And it will physically pull up the sensations in the body, potentially of what happened during the trauma. So, it's almost like reliving it, but there's also it also provides a buffer and a container to help them manage those emotions and then able to bring them back down on a calming scale before the session is over. And so if I could, brain spotting is a spinoff of EMDR created by David Brand. And with brain spotting, it's the same concept, more fine-tuned, more focused, I would say, where you utilize the eye movement. And this time it's once you find that space with the eyes, the body will tell whether the eyes jump or there's a twitch of the mouth. The body is going to give away where the eyes have located because the eyes are an extension of the brain, right? They are connected to the midbrain, which houses every experience you've ever had. So if you pull up something, you decide you want to focus on something from when you were, say, even 3 years old, where you may not have a conscious memory, but your body remembers, right? And so I'll have you follow my finger, and I can tell when your eyes locate that particular situation that we're focused on. And from that moment, we'll just hold that gaze, and the body and the brain will do amazing things. It is a beautiful experience to watch somebody in that space because they do their own healing. I'm just there to hold space for them. Their brain already knows what to do. And so they may relive the experience. They may have a whole story associated with it, but yet different, yet similar. It may just be in the body, and that's okay. There's no right or wrong way to do it, right? There's no guidelines in terms of it has to be done like this. And that's the beauty of it, is that it allows the client to really process the way that they need to, the way that their body needs to. If you feel the urge to take a nap, because with this eye movement, it replicates REM sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when
Mm-hmm.
you go to sleep, that's when your body regenerates and your brain is able to process more. So I've had a client who literally fell asleep for about 20, 30 minutes. And I was in the same position when she awoke because I needed to be there to hold that space with her because her brain needed to go to sleep in order to process that thing. Some people may need to get up and jump around or wash their hands or just get it off of them. And so both of them are amazing tools, and they definitely go deep and they make you feel. But when you come out on the other side, and the greatest part is that your brain will continue to process even after the session is over. Once it starts to try to reprocess and put you in a better space, in a more healed space in the mind, it's going to continue to try to find that every day, every day. And so imagine if you have a few sessions of this, right? It only reinforces that seeking of this better space in which you're processing that event. Not that you'll forget it, but you'll no longer have that emotional, intense response in the body or in the mind.
I love it. As that's like the realm of stuff that I've just endured. I like feeling how the brain, the mind works. And it all, again, that's an energetic thing that goes on in your brain, those neurons, and, it's like electricity or whatever
Yes.
else to help. And that, like you said, you process when you transcend. Because you transcend the healing process on these for the journeys, because we know sometimes when we on journeys, we want to take the time to look back. But when you transcending, which and this is what the wellness center does, you're going to transcend a healing process. So
Yes.
that's what I take out of the word transcend. I just do, and it illuminates. And as you guys can see, this beautiful picture that I might have to steal from her. That's a transcend. That's a transcending picture. It's a beautiful, beautiful picture. Beautiful picture. I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love
Thank
it.
you.
I love it. So, what would you what would you say was the transition hard for you for to get back into civilian life from the military life?
Oh, it was definitely a challenge. Um, so a little bit of the backstory. I went into the military a week after high school, right? And this really speaks to my development, my own personal healing, right? And that's why I can guide others because I've been there. So I got good grades all my school career, right? But still didn't think I was smart enough to go to college. I'm talking about A's and B's, honor roll, even in high school, with advanced classes, and still didn't think I was good enough to go to college. My family has a history of veterans, and so I was like, all right, well, I'm going that route, right? Because who was going to take me? So I thought, and so I went into the military, into the army. It was an interesting experience, one that I would not give back for anything in the world because it has groomed me and shaped me for all the experiences I had. I was injured and I got out on a medical discharge. And so when I got out, I was literally broken. Like I felt broken physically and broken in spirit because now I didn't succeed at that. So what do I do with my life now? And I remember my husband and I were dating at the time, and I wanted to not take my life, but I wanted to end the pain, the feeling of being lost and not knowing what to do. And I am so grateful for his support during that time. And I remember I finally got a job, and I was driving on the highway, and every morning that I had to get in that car and go to work, I just kept praying. If I had this overwhelming sense to get out on the highway, but on my knees to pray. I said, I don't know who or what this message is coming, but that's a bit conflicting, don't you think? Like it's one thing to get down on my knees and pray. It's another for me to have that feeling while I'm on the highway. I don't think I should probably do that. So I'm gonna pray like when I stop driving, when I get to a safe place. But I just remember that overwhelming feeling for a long period of time of just getting on my knees and praying like something has to change. And so I finally began to find my footing after coming home and going to the VA and seeing a therapist there who I could not relate to. We were not the same gender, we were not the same race, and not that that matters because we are all human. but his perception of the world and my perception of the world were very different, and we could not connect. And people don't understand that it is the relationship between the client and the therapist that is the vehicle that drives the healing. And so if you cannot connect with them, there is no healing.
Right.
There is no
Right.
healing. And so I stopped going there, and I was just trying to figure out my way. And eventually I did. So, yes, the transition in the beginning was very difficult because I was lost and I didn't know where to go. Interestingly enough, going back to my military career, I was home, and I was watching the Oprah show. I had my first child, and she had inspired me to finish my education. So I got a bachelor's degree, two, one in psychology and one in criminal justice. Still didn't know what I was doing with them at the time. But I was actually home watching TV, and the Oprah show was on. She was doing a show on women veterans who were homeless.
Hmm.
And I was like, wait a minute, I don't understand. Like my brain could not comprehend how any of my sisters in arms could not have a place to live. And I was sitting in a house, right? I just didn't understand that. And by the end of that show, I had such a fire in my stomach. I had tears rolling down my face because I was so angry that I couldn't believe that this was happening. And so all I could figure out was, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? I went on the computer, and before I knew it, I was applying for a master's degree. And I was like, oh my God, I just did that. To Rutgers University, who I thought like I could never. And I got accepted. I was like, oh my God, that happened. And then 3 years later, I graduated with 3 kids. And my last semester, I was working at the VA full time. I was doing my internship at the full time. I was taking classes, and I had just given birth 3 days before the
Wow.
first day of class before the semester began for the last. So we started in January. I had my daughter January 26th, and class started like 3 days later. And we pushed that out. And my teachers were like, didn't you just have a baby? I said, yes, ma'am. Could you finish with class? Because listen, this is what I was trained to just keep pushing forward, just keep going. And I kept going, and I kept going, and I finally graduated. And so I realized along the way how much, even though having a military career in terms of 20 years and retiring wasn't for me, I still needed that snippet in my life because it connected me to so many things that were going to continue to build who I am today. So was it difficult? Yes, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That was your purpose.
Yes. And
See
so
how it inkling? Yep. See how
yes,
it inkling right on, it walks you right into your destiny.
yes.
That right now, that's encouraging for somebody who may be watching this right now, or it may be for someone who's catching the replay of this. Listen, we all have purpose. And it just says sometimes when we feel like all that is heaviness, sometimes that's the extra push that will push us into what we need to be doing. Because I said this last week, sharing the same type of journey. It was always the denials. I feel that. Look, I'm feeling that. I'm getting chills just
Mhm.
thinking about that. Thinking about those denials, those challenges, those no's. As you said, it isn't it funny that now I'm talking counselor to counselor, therapist to therapist here. Isn't it funny how we always don't feel like we're doing enough or we're not enough?
And,
Hey,
and
I
so
feel you.
that was my story for so long, so long. Like when I left the military, my first sergeant used to call me a half a soldier because I was injured, and I was like, and that stuck with me for a long time. And during my journey, I had to work on that. But as I got out and I went through the master's program for social work, and I got my license, and I'm working at the VA, I'm working in I'm running the women's program, the women's telemental health program. I'm seeing women veterans, the same women that got me fired up to get into the social work program. And now I'm seeing male veterans. I'm in two different programs providing these services from a half a soldier, right? Like it was interesting. And yes, along the way, while we're trying to help people, at some point we have to say, what am I doing to help me?
Mm, mm.
Right.
That's true. That's true. That's
And when I
true.
started my journey, it began to shift, and I do not sit in that place anymore of not being good enough. I am more than enough to help those that I need to help, that Most High send my way, because I am qualified for them, not for everybody, but for them.
Exactly. Good, good look, exactly. Great, exactly. That's a
Yes.
new terminology. But we have some viewers. I want to say thank you, Monet Mack, for coming in. Janelle Smith, Nubia Lockett. Thank you guys so much. Lou Laro, he says, "Hi, are you a psychologist? You have a mental health tag." Sharon Cooper Mazel, we said thank you. I know we're talking. This is how I like uplifting, and I'm feeling. If y'all can see the chills, look, I'm seeing the chills. That's where we were talking about when you're in your purpose, and Sandy and I are both transparent.
Mhm.
And you would think that we would known each other for months, but we actually just met maybe like a month ago, and I am a believer and a follower of when God gives you something, and he
Yes.
definitely picked me out for a purpose of this. So tonight, this is this is a assignment. I count everything as an assignment that he gets. So that was an assignment. And that, yeah, Sharon said this is a God ordained that I would be on this evening. So yeah, so
Mhm.
don't you ever look at yourself, because actually there's a program that she's going to come up with. We're going to talk about it in the second half. But listen, we're going to take a quick break. I want somebody to go grab two, three, four other people, tag them while we take a quick break, and we're going to come back because we're going to hear more from my awesome guests in a few. Welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and I'm here with my fabulous queen sister, Sandi Fields, here, and we're getting ready to go dive into some more about this queen, what she's on, her purpose and her journey. Because look, this is here to help somebody tonight. This is here to really help somebody. So, next question. Can you tell the audience about your professional skills, which and we have talked about some, what you do, that you use when working with individuals who have dealt with traumatic experiences? And I know you discussed a few of them, but like when we talk about CBT, you can tell somebody what that is and how that works as well.
So, CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, is really understanding that our thoughts dictate how we feel, which then facilitates our response or our action, right? So, your thought determines how you feel determines how you respond. And so, if you don't like the way that you're responding to things, that means you don't like the way it's making you feel. You have to think about your perception of that situation. And so while it sounds very simple to change your mindset, it is not, because we get very stuck in what we believe. Sometimes we just have to be right. It can't be any other way because this person needs to be held accountable, right? And that's where forgiveness comes in, sidebar, right? And so these things are very important because we are reminded that we are the masters of our own fate. It could be the same situation. It's like a picture. You can have 10 different people look at the same picture and they can have 10 different views on it. The situation could be the same, but it's how you perceive it. And so changing your mindset, your thought about what that picture represents, what that experience you went through, what that represents about you or that person, determines how you're going to feel. So if you don't like the way you feel, you have to be willing to open your mind and change your perception and understanding of that experience.
Exactly. That's it. It's a mindset change. It's a deep mindset change when you want to move forward in the therapies that you have to do. Now, when you talked about mindfulness,
Mhm.
that different part, that's something that I'm into, that you're into, and we use some other holistic approaches. And and let me put this disclaimer out here: we're not saying don't take your medicine. We're not saying that if you need to take your medicine, take your medicine. Now, there are other things that can help in the areas as also with this, and this is where we're going to talk in your part of your holistic health coach into this mindfulness based therapies. Can you give some examples of mindfulness based therapies as well?
So, Michelle, would you indulge me, Queen, for a moment? So, and I would ask all of you viewers if you are available to just walk through this guided meditation or experience that I want to walk you through. Okay. So, if you're comfortable, I ask you to close your eyes for a second and let's take a deep breath in for about 4 seconds. Inhale and hold for 4 seconds and release for 4 seconds and hold for 4 seconds. And so, just take another deep breath in and find your rhythm. Release. So, with your eyes closed, I want you to hold out one hand and imagine that there's a lemon in your hand. And you roll it around, you roll it around. In your mind's eye, you know that it's yellow, it's bright. You feel it, it's kind of firm. And so now I want you to imagine taking your hand up to your mouth and take a bite out of this lemon. It's sour, it's hitting your taste buds, it's juicy, it's cold. The juice is dripping down the side of your mouth. Queen, what did that feel like for you?
I just did the example. So I right now my jaws are like locking because of the sensory of what do you know in your brain is about the lemon. So
Your mind doesn't care what you tell it, that's a shout out to the infamous Marissa Peer. She is a trained psychologist and hypnotherapist. Your brain does not care if you tell it the truth or if you lie to it. It will believe whatever you tell it, right? You had a physical bodily response in your jaws, right? That twinge that you get at the fact that you told your brain you were eating a lemon. And so mindfulness is really just being aware of the present moment and what's happening in your mind. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to take it as fact. You can just see it as a thought, right? When we got on, full disclosure to everybody behind the scenes, there's a CKO kickboxing class downstairs, and they were in their class and they ended at 7. So we could hear it. And I said, for me, sometimes that's a reminder because the instructor was really loud on the speaker, is to get excited about life. Because in this therapy process, people come with the heaviness, right? But with that heaviness, life is a balance, it's a duality. And so you have to be reminded that there is also joy and things to be loud about and get excited about. It's also a reminder that there are going to be a lot of distractions in life, day to day, moment to moment. And you have to be able to be centered or recenter yourself throughout those life distractions. Mindfulness is just about being within yourself, breathing, not trying to clear your mind and empty your mind because your mind is involuntary. It's going to think regardless of what you tell it to do, just like your heart, involuntary. It's going to beat even if you tell it not to, right? But the focus of mindfulness is to just be in the present moment and just notice what's happening with no judgment, with no judgment. No judgment to the thought, no judgment to the feeling that you're having. Maybe you have an itch on your knee. Try not to scratch it and see if just sit with it and see what shows up. See if it goes away. See if your knee just needs some attention. I do a meditation where I walk people through giving thanks to each part of their body, from their toes all the way up to the crown of their head. How often do we do that?
wow.
What are our hips keep us in balance so much? Our knees are able to allow us to bend and be flexible. Our big toe keeps us balanced, but we don't give it the credit that it's due. Our body from inside out and every nook and cranny is valuable as a well-oiled machine with the oil of love from the Most High. And if you don't love on it, that oil will run out and it begins to create dis-ease in the body.
You're speaking truth. Yeah, and look, I have some guests who are on here, and this is one of my lights. I would say Jennifer Gardner is on here. She said yes, action outside the triggers. And she said yes, my go-to box breathing. She said you gave what a perfect example. Stacy Smith says my mouth watered, laugh out loud. Um, and Lou Lauro says, "Do you know about parents' divorce?" I don't have any idea, Lou. We're gonna have to disease. Yeah, the disease causes disease. That is so true. That is so true. Very true. Yes, very true. Disease causes disease, and that's why we want to do things holistically to help us heal.
Yes.
um, Different things to help us heal. And one of the things, your meditative voice right there, that just it was soothing. And it actually, if you had a mind, as I call the mind chatter, that actually calmed everything down. I mean, it was awesome, 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 very
Well,
awesome.
I thank you, Most High and Spirit Team, for using me as a vessel because that was my prayer before we got on, right? Allow me to hang up who I am and let Spirit work through me for the betterment of everyone else, right?
Yes,
And that includes my
yes,
voice. When we
yes.
got on, I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, right? But when it's time to do God's work, when it's time to show up, I don't want to be the hindrance. I don't want to be in the way.
Listen, you speaking all the truth right now. I, you speaking all the truth. Hey, that's how I flow. I flow with what he tells me. I don't listen to, there's a lot of people got opinions. A lot of people got opinions, but I always tell people I carry on what he tells me to do. So we have Whole Soul Wellness LLC says yes, she needs a YouTube channel. Uh-oh. Girl,
Well,
you
thank
get.
you for that confirmation, Queen.
And Dana Hawkins says, "Come on, sis, I love you. So proud of you." And I look, listen, that right there, and look, whole soul wellness LLC say no hindrance. You are definitely a vessel, both of you.
Oh,
Thank you so
yes,
much. And you look whole soul wellness. We might have to connect with you because I'm all about collaborations.
yes,
And when you just said something that I always tell people, and my sis Sharon Cooper Mazel, she's on here, she would tell you, I always tell, I'm the Lord's willing vessel. Whatever he used me to get, whether it's using, let me talk about some more mindfulness, whether it's using the sound bowls, the
yes,
guided meditations, I'm still saved.
yep, yep, absolutely.
And God works through me. So I have the God's intentions when He tells me to touch someone, to pray
Mhm.
for someone. Come on here, people. We gotta get this together here. Stop putting your beliefs on everybody. That there are other ways of healing out here. And I believe if He made everything,
Yes,
everything is good.
yes, yes. And again, it goes back to that mindset, right? Being open. And so we have been, dare I say, indoctrinated on so many different levels, in so many different arenas of society that when something comes that has not been familiar with our indoctrination, we immediately reject it
Yes.
without even giving it an opportunity.
Yeah. Without, yeah. And hey, look, whole soul wellness, look, that's my buddy Jennifer. She getting different ways on me. She trying to mess with my mind. But it's all good. I'm on it now. I'm on it now. She said the laying of the hands. Oh girl. Yes. Many modalities. Many modalities. Yeah, I just
Listen, I've just adopted my queen sister and I have just and so that'll come later working on a journal. And the nickname, shout out to Clark Atlanta University. We recently did an event down there for Valentine's Day. And what I noticed was the hugs, right? The
Mm,
students down there, hugs. And I was like, that's my form of payment. Your gratitude is a hug, right? And it was just so, something about that was like, wait a minute, what's happening here? So the new nickname is now for me is the hugging healer, because
ooh,
sometimes all you need is a hug. And so
mm,
share my energy with you to let you know that
mm,
I genuinely love you, right,
mm.
as an extension of the Most High, and you are valuable and you are worthy, and I can speak that over you, and I can share that energy from my heart to yours.
Wow.
That's a healing like no other.
That's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And Jennifer Lake, thank you for tuning in tonight. And she says, I love being a holistic therapist. Yeah, because she also is someone who practices in Reiki as well, too. She does it
Nice.
as well. And yes, I feel that thing. The hugging healer. There your
Yes.
YouTube channel. There you go, girlfriend. There you go, sis. There
Come
you
on,
go.
listen. It is
Come
the
on.
community support. I
Come
am my
on
sister's
now.
keeper.
There it
Yes.
is.
Thank
The
you.
hugging. Yes. Oh my
Yes.
God. There it is, sis. There it is.
Okay,
I'm just
y'all.
saying.
According to my sister Michelle, I will be introducing the Hugging Healer, the Healing Hugger YouTube channel in a couple of days.
Hey, you just started here tonight. And look, everyone, I want y'all to throw up the hearts, the hugs, everything, because this is sis' first time doing a podcast. And
Yes.
let me tell you something else, sis. That's something that's a gift that God uses through me to bring people and push people out into their destiny.
Mm,
So there it is. You got it. Boom.
and
Drop
I
the mic.
thank you. Yes, yes, and I thank you.
And that's what he does. He uses me to bring others out into to flourish them into their purposes as well. So I'm getting ready to get teary eyed because that's real. That's just real
And I
about
felt
that.
that. I
Yeah,
felt that that was your purpose when we connected. And I said, is this real? And Spirit said, yes. I said, am I to call her? Like, yes, immediately. And I was like, okay, remember when we connected, I think we were out celebrating my daughter's birthday. And I was like, okay,
yeah.
we're doing this. And something about our connection and what this was absolutely felt like it was a push, going transcending where I was in this space, going another level higher. So I thank you. I thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just thank you. I listen and I act because I know he gives it to me for a reason.
Mhm.
I don't want to cause someone to miss their purpose, if especially if I'm a part of that conductor to help them lead them to. So this this is how he the uses me. And that's just a gift from him. Like you said, vessel. Somebody else has said it earlier, as a vessel. That's all I want to be, as a willing vessel to help others and inspire others. Like I say, guru of inspiration. That's my tag.
Yes,
Guru
yes,
of
I love it.
inspiration. So look, we're going to take a quick break, but then we're going to come back and we're going to hear about these retreats,
Okay.
because I'm in the process of having a retreat this weekend. So what you're gonna see is what is gonna be going on, what I am gonna be doing this weekend. That be my 12th year putting it on, but I'm looking to collaborate, sis. Don't
Yes.
2024, be ready. So sit
What
back, take a
date?
seat, stay tuned, keep looking. We're gonna come right back. We're gonna take a break. welcome back to the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul, where I'm with my special guest, Goddess Queen here, Sandi Fields, who is here tonight giving us all the business about the holistic realm and just being her natural self. And hey, this is what this is all about. Transcend wellness, right? When we talk about wellness, this is why we're here up front. We want wellness up front. We want wellness in our minds. We want wellness in our bodies. And we definitely need wellness in our souls. So, again, I want to say thank you, Sandi, for being here tonight, and all to my lovely guests. Thank you. Lisa D. Wilson said, "This is so awesome." See, Lisa's into the holistic stuff as well when it comes down to natural hair care. So she's into it. Jennifer Gardner said, "Yes, thank you, ladies." Yes, Jennifer, thank you. I definitely have to get there to see you for my massage. So, and my sis Sheila Gibson, she says, "Hello, Michelle, sis." That's another sister in love who has poured into it. As you guys seen, this is the approach of the Warm Your Heart, Warm Your Mind, and Warm Your Soul retreat that I'll be fasting on this weekend. It's been a journey, but thanks be to God, it's all pulling together. There was some hiccups, but all glory goes to God, because when those hiccups stopped, things still kept moving in. Contributions is coming in, all of that type of stuff. But we thank God for that. But overall, we have a reflexologist that will be in the house. We also have, I will actually be doing my meditation stuff as well. And I will actually be bringing my meditation chair too, with have different frequencies, because a lot of people don't know it's all about the sound that can also produce and mind shift your to healing. Frequencies, radio frequencies, these type of frequencies, solfeggios, different aquas levels can open up different areas in your body. I'm actually going to show EFT. So it's all types of
Yes.
stuff that's going to be happening on it. People will walk away this weekend. And then here's the thing: if the moon moves the water,
Come
I'm
on.
coming in as a sound producer with frequencies to have relaxation near the water, because there's something that happens near the water. So we're gonna contribute this weekend for people to get everything that they need this weekend: the rest, the restoration, and the revelation and the renewal when they leave from there this weekend. So speaking of that, my sister here also is into holistic ram. So she's gonna actually, she has retreats as well. So Sandi, share about these retreats and how they doing and all this type of stuff. And as I do that, I'm actually gonna give you guys her website where you can start following her. I'm telling you, you're gonna need to want to follow her, because look, some of y'all got a healing and breakthrough tonight and didn't even realize what you was getting. I'm just saying.
So thank you, sis. So my mentor and colleague at Healing Through Shanika Marie on IG, she has been, her baby is I am queen status. And I met with her seeking healing on my own journey, and we connected, and that too was divinely guided and ordered. And so from that moment we have been working together, and recently we have partnered to develop I am royal status, along with our other founder, Sifu Elohi. And so together we create workshops where people come, men and women are coming for a deeper healing. We have a 4-week workshop that goes along with the retreats, 4 weeks prior to the retreat. That way, we already get to begin breaking down some walls, fine tuning the focus of what you want to work on, what you want to release, already building a camaraderie and familiarity with other participants. And at the retreat, we also have sound healing. Shanika is a shaman as well as a sound healer, and she's beautifully gifted with her voice to shift the energy within one's body. Elohi does the yoga. He is a yogi, so he absolutely is amazing at utilizing these body movements and positions to help release that stored up energy, that traumatic energy that needs to be released. I'm there to help guide them through the energetic cord cutting, right? Because what happens is we get attached to these things and
Mm.
get attached to us. And so I am there to guide them to be open, be thankful for that experience. What did it teach you? And then release it and cut that cord so that it does not come back, right? Only you can bring it back, but you have to be mindful. And so we give them tools on how to be mindful of not bringing those things back. And we have different activities where we have opening ceremonies, closing ceremonies. We have two professional dancers. One walks the participants through a stretch, just really being in the mind, the body, and the spirit. A lot in the body because people get disconnected. They get disconnected from their body. And so teaching them how to get back in their body, right, through stretch, teaching them how to, especially the women, to be sensual with your body because that's part of your divine feminine. And so we have professionals that do that. So we really encompass a lot of the same things. And maybe we'll have a foot bath, but we always try to have water as well, and as well as nature. So a couple of our last retreats have been in log cabins, which was amazing when it comes to the grounding and the releasing, right? And the
Mm.
holding of that space when you're literally inside of those trees. So we absolutely go by earth, air, fire, and water when it comes to the healing and making sure we incorporate that. We've had retreats where pools were available in the homes that we did the retreats at, and that was a whole healing process, right, in the water. And so you're releasing it and you're being cleansed in that space. It's just beautiful, and each retreat is slightly different. So you can go to the first two, and the third one will be very, very different.
I see Elohi Bay is on here. He says peace, prosperity, protection,
Yes,
and good
yes,
health, Queen C Star, Janice Ice, Jen Isis. Yes.
yes,
Um, yeah, I mean, and that's another realm that he has been brought me into to help others to understand that to get more in tune with our mind, body, and soul through that. And I'm just so glad. I'm so glad, and it's been like I'm seeking out more of that
yes.
likeness, like mindedness of
Yeah.
that. And I'm just so happy that again we connected. Again, this was an assignment to do this, and I'm looking to be to one of them retreats. I'm all about retreats.
Listen, we are forever connected now, right? The current retreat that we had was scheduled for Mexico, and with some things that were taking place and just being spirit led, we've decided to reschedule that. So right now we're looking for a location to be able to house the retreat stateside, potentially June 8th through the 11th, that weekend. So another flyer will be coming out with the new information. We're also having smaller events, traveling different states. So we just had one in New Jersey. I think you and I had discussed that healing event that we had about 2 weeks ago. We're looking to do another one in 6 weeks, potentially down in Georgia. We have some Queen Status sisters that live down there. So we're just looking where we can create space for people to connect with us and to heal in ways that they haven't before, and really just kind of grow the community of holistic healing, right? That's what
Yeah.
this is about, is just connecting with others. And so maybe we'll come down in your area, right? And you can be the guest healer as we bring folks, or we can be the guest healer at your events. And so it's really just about when you know that you are connected and you know that there's a community out there doing that light work, it's okay, let's get together because numbers are everything,
Yes. Yes.
right? When you stand in the most high, that's really the only number you need.
And I have Sheila Gibson say, where is she located? So Sandy, can you tell where you located again?
Yes.
Sheila, we're gonna take a ride.
I am in Somerset, New Jersey. And so, in order to work with me, if you are outside of New Jersey, say via Zoom or telehealth, it would have to be through an energetic healing session, intuitively guided session, and not a typical therapy session, just for licensing purposes. And with that said, I also do the couples love shops. They're not necessarily retreats where they're days long, but it's about a 6-hour love shop where holistically speaking, I take that approach. It's energetic work, it's spiritual work, it's challenging their interpretations of what they have experienced together as individuals, checking them as individuals, checking their energy field as an individual, showing them the areas that need to be addressed and how that area shows up in their relationship,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
we do individual work and then we do couples work, because without doing that individual work and knowing who you are, knowing your shadow work that needs to be done, all you do is point the finger, and that's not healing, and that's not going to be beneficial for the relationship. So I do love shops where I take 6 hours every third Saturday starting April, well, not every other month, starting April 15th, where I work with just 3 couples, because it is a lot of energy and spiritual work that is also being done. And because it's customized to the particular clients, I only take 3 at a time.
Okay. Okay. And you know what? On your next retreat, because something that I did, I posted it for Valentine's Day, and no one capped into it, but I'm just gonna put that out there. Maybe next year, I actually was gonna do a sound bath for couples
Mm,
for Valentine's Day. I asked one couple. I even did like a little contest. Nobody baited. If they had took a part of that, man, I tell you, it could enhance so much more frequency
yeah.
and passion and the love for one another. But again, people are not educated enough. They just look at this as me just stirring up a bowl or whatever else with it. But you got to realize some of this holistic stuff works. I tell you, the tapping, the EFT, all of that stuff helps.
Because it's all energy.
It's all right. It's right. It's all energy and it really works. I hey, I they call me the crazy lady at work because somebody said, "Oh, you got a back pain." I said, "Oh, you really do?" I said, "Let me take my little jewelry off and let's go to." Oh, she said, "Oh, it did help." And then I had them do tapping. I mean, I
Mhm.
work in substance too, and some of them come in with nerves and anxiety and different stuff like that. So I had them doing the tap, and it was like, man, that pressure is gone. I'm like, this is the natural stuff. I'm like, that's your meridian lines. You
Yeah,
gotta be.
people don't realize, like, we are full of energy. You mentioned earlier, right? The synopsis in the brain, it looks like on a scan like firecrackers, right? That's
Hmm.
all energy. We are electricity. We are also water. So, as you also spoke earlier about the moon and its impact on water, which means its impact on you.
Yes.
If you are
Yes.
mostly water, it is shifting in you. And because the moon is also associated with emotions, it's typically on a full moon going to pull up the emotions that you need to address, doing that what some would call shadow work, because you put it in the
Yeah.
shadow. You
Yeah.
didn't want to deal with it. You put it into the darkness. And the moon says, but if you want to be your best, the best version of you, you have to address it. Let me help you. And so when it gets at its most intense magnitude and ability to pull, that's what's going to come up if you paying attention.
There you go. Say it.
If you paying attention, if
I have
you
my mic.
want to.
I don't have my mic, but said if you're not paying attention, you're definitely speaking that if you're not paying attention, because sometimes we can be so heavenly bound that we're no earthly good, and sometimes you be like, hold down and listen and just think, because the body is made. They don't want us to know that. I don't know if I get banned or not from Facebook. They don't want it, but the body is made to heal itself.
Yes, it is. And so too is everything else that is produced, right? When you
Yes.
think about music, people, so when we talk about sound healing, think about 2 different songs. A song that you've heard that makes you feel good, and a song that you've heard that makes you cry, that makes you sad, right? That is that sound, that frequency has an impact on you, on your emotions, your energy in motion, right? Emotions is energy in motion. And so it influx and it moves depending on the frequency, which song you're listening to. So it doesn't have to be words, right? Which means the sound bowls are the same thing as listening to a song without words.
Definitely. I just did an album. I just did my and I will put it out there. I'll ask you guys, I asked people last week to go to YouTube and look in Michelle B. Hammond meditation affirmations. where I have that where people can go to and listen to the sonnets and stuff. And I'm getting ready to take my peppermint in a minute. So
Okay.
to get that draining down.
Mhm.
But those modalities, those holistic modalities, they work. And I'm just trying to get people to get educated more about it. And it's not that you're taking over power or whatever it is, because we know that every gift, perfect gift, comes from God. We know that, but He also uses us and people like us to be help other people. I mean, we got to think about it. Before medicines, before back in the centuries, you look at how they healed themselves.
Yes.
Those old remedies grandma used to do, them approaches to
Hmm.
it. So, I mean, it's that you got. I just tell people to have an open mind, and yeah, we have the forces of spiritual, but if your heart is right and you know whose you are and whose you belong to, you don't have anything to worry about. I'm just I just put that on there. I'm gonna drop the mic on that one, but I'm gonna drop the mic on that one. Oh, and look, my sis came on. She says that's the key. People have to be educated, and it is. I mean, we have to be educated. Matter of fact, sis is on here. I went to the store, and this is just something to throw out there. A couple of lady was telling me she was having some aches and pains and some other stuff. Well, we already know about the story about the Epsom salts, the magnesium. So taking an Epsom salt bath. So one time, and it was so funny. Back when I opened up my holistic place back, and I had bath. I had baths, and my sister said something like, she said, I still got my jars. And I said, you just don't know, you done inkling me to start back there. I said, now everybody's doing the healing. So I said, you know what? He gave that to me then, but I'm being honest. I did it for the moment, but look how far I would have advanced.
Hmm.
Went way back when everybody else wasn't doing it. I had already started doing those healing bath salts and different stuff like that. And now everybody's doing it. But again, I didn't pay attention. But trust me, that's why I'm going forth now and paying attention to everything that
Yep.
he tells me to do. I'm intentional about this. I'm
And
very
you know what?
intentional about this.
Even if the Most High would continue to have you do that now, like there are so many people in the world that need healing. It's not about who's
Yes.
doing it or who's not. It's about, is there somebody who needs this and can I provide it? Even if it's 10 people or 2 people, it is worth it. If God says, I want you to bring that back up, I want you to try this again. It's not about where you could have been. It's about who you can help now.
Right, right, right. You're absolutely right. And help Eloise say, peace, all peace, Queen Michelle Bolden Hammond. Yes, my dear brother. Hopefully we'll get to meet. Maybe we can get me to stretch a little bit more with the yoga. Cause I want to have my head, I want to have my leg way back up. I want to go back to my
We might have to
5-year-old
take,
self.
we might have to take the stretch class first, the P. You got to take the stretch class first and then work on that pose.
You're not even catching that. Laughter is good for the soul. So
Yes,
hey, laughter is good for
yes.
the soul. So look, we giving you some principles here. We giving you some holistic health principles. Laughing, because there is also laughing yoga. I was actually looking into that. So yeah, there's breathing mechanism, get those cells and that breath work out. People, you just don't know. Look, you stay
Yes.
here at Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. You're gonna learn a whole lot of tactics,
Amen.
because I'm bringing on some folks in these couple of seconds that we have. We try to educate. But again, Sandy, I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Dear love, this is love. I appreciate you for taking the time out to come on to share, your service. And again, tell us about what's coming up, because I know you got some stuff that's coming up.
Yes, yes. So we have the couples love shop in April. We have the retreat in June. I have a journal that is coming out. I'm super, super excited about that. The title is um, Journaling the Journey with a hug along the way, which actually will come with a bonus track of sound healing by my queen sister Shanika with my voice doing the meditation. So when you talked about my voice being calming, you're going to get that as part of the journal to be able to listen to as you write some things out or draw some things out. So I have that coming out, and I also have a spiritual candle line coming out. All of that is very exciting. It is spirit led. It is not me. It is a download, so to speak, for those that are in need, and it will reach those that it needs to reach. And I thank you for this opportunity to be able to share and let everybody know what we offer, the services that are out there. So please don't hesitate to reach out.
Hey, and here again, here is where you can reach out to her at the Transcend, www.transcendcounselingandwellness.com. And you know, my sis here, she just put something here that I want to say. Um, Roxanne, she just said, what about when you do your sound bowls, have your salts and bath bombs? Let me tell you something. We didn't touch on these neither. So when I do the sound bowls, Roxanne, I actually did a workshop a couple weeks ago, and I will be having another one April the 27th. This time, I'm gonna ask people to bring their yoga mats because what I'm gonna do is let them get those vibrations. And when I'm asking God to bless me to get the big one where someone can stand inside of it and
Mm.
do the vibrations, to move those rhythms around. So I do put crystals inside the sound bowls. And you're absolutely right. That magnesium, those salts, and those bath bombs, and different things like that, because those salts will actually bring in extra healing realm of properties. Because even with the water, even if I do the sound bowls and put water in it with those frequencies, that's charging that water to promote water that you can drink for healing.
And
See, I'm
let's
teaching tonight.
Yes, and let's add to that, like for them to take that homework home if they don't have a sound bowl to speak into that glass of water because your
Yes,
words are a frequency.
yes,
Right, speak to that water and what you want it to do for you. So
yes,
they come to you when they get that amazingly charged water. But when you
yes.
go home and you run out of that charged water, utilize that power within you to speak life into that water before you drink it.
And you know something I shared last month with, I think I did talk about how water. It was an experiment by Masaru
Yes.
Emoto.
Yep.
So I want you to let me write this down. I want y'all to do some homework for those or whoever catches this replay tonight. I want you to go do some homework because I want to show you just how this water and what you speak out of your mouth can transfer. And when we talk about negativity, all of those different type of things. So I'm going to write this person's name down, and I want you to go read about his work,
Hmm.
because it's very important that we understand when people don't believe you speak what you say out your mouth. But this gentleman here,
It's
I
back by
want you to go look him up. I want you to go look him up, and I want you guys to write back or email me about what did you learn from this, because this is very important. When people come to me about, oh, this is not of God, this is not as this, but this is true facts of water that has happened through an experiment that this guy Masaru Emoto did. And that's nothing, it's not a lie, it's not nothing made up, it's the truth. But I want you to see what happened when we talk about water. So with me using them sound bowls and putting water in there, it could actually do some change those frequencies and that vibration in that water to actually produce something that can help produce healing. Not to say it can cure. Listen again. Let's get educated. Not to say, but it can produce some type of healing. Maybe there might be an ache or a pain. But once I do that sound bowl with that water and that frequency change, it can actually have an effect on that pain or whatever your emotions, whatever. But I want you guys to go look up Masaru Emoto tonight. And I want you to write back at me and tell me just exactly what you got out from that. And what we're talking about, we're just bringing you things that maybe other people might not say is of the devil, but it's all natural. It's all things God created. He created the water, He created everything, even us. So it
And
is
you
what
know,
it
they
is.
can even do their own version of that same experiment at home with rice and water.
There you go. So you got educated tonight. You got educated tonight. Again, Sandy, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in. Actually, stay on when we get ready to get off. Yes, Shanika Marie said God created it all. So, yes, I greatly appreciate it. And my sister Roxanne said, educate people on the calming of the sound bowls and the relaxation of the salt in the bath bombs. Will do. So I have a mantra here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. So what I usually tell folks, just if you don't feel that you love, because after the night you should have, because there's a whole lot of love and love and energy that went off from here. If you don't feel like you love, just know that you are loved here at the Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul. And let me tell you something else. It's going to be super exciting next week's show, because I'm going to be interviewed on my own show. How that happened?
I'm
But that's
tuning in
just
for
how
that.
we do. That's
I,
just how we do.
yes,
So that's just how we do. Again, I'm your host, Michelle Bolden Hammond, and thank you for tuning in to this week's Upfront Mind, Body, and Soul.